Okay, how to create a key store. Um, you can do it through Unity, but I like to use this free application that works with Java apps, it works with Unity, and it works with other things, so I don't have to use separate tools for managing a key store or have separate key stores. I do make copies of the key store, and then every time I add a key store entry, I make a copy to the two backup locations so I don't accidentally lose it. So here in https://keystore-explorer.org. I download and install the one for my system, and it's a Java app, but it works just fine with Unity. And then after you install it, you can install it from, if you've said put something on your desktop, it'll make a little icon like this, or you can go down into your Windows search bar and type KeyStore and the KeyStore app and start it. All right, it's got some tool tips, but for now you can read those later. In our case, we're going to create a new key store, which is simple to do. And it takes a few seconds after you click it. I've clicked this twice. There we go. Maybe you have to click the icon. And PKCS12 is the standard one, so I pick that. And so then you want to save it. Save as, and you have to create a password. Of course, make sure they both match. And if you lose this password, you cannot open the key store. So pick something you can remember. And if you're a group of people, make sure that you put the key store password somewhere where minimum number of people have access to it. And I'm gonna call this my key store dot keystore. And I'm picking that name because it seems to be one of the file types it likes down here. And it's one, and keystore is a word I can remember. Okay, and it did create it. There we go. It uses the same icon, and I stored it on this video on my desktop. Normally I wouldn't store it on my desktop, but just so that we can see it here. And then if we close this, we'll notice we can just, wherever it is on your file system, you can just double click it and it opens the key store for you. And then you have to enter the password for your key store. Now you haven't made any app key ones yet, you've just made the key store. So now let's create an app specific key so that you can publish to the stores. And you do that by right clicking, generate key pair. RSA is what I use. And it comes up with this. It's an application, so let's make it good for 50 years. And hit OK. Oop, a value for name is required. Yep, which is this. Common name, which is the name of your app. Like in Unity, under Preferences, there's the company name, and then there is the product name. This is the product name. So I'm going to just now call this Key Store Demo. If that was the product name. Now this name doesn't have to match the one in Unity for the product name, but I make them match so I don't get confused as to which key goes with which app. And then organizational unit, I'll just say development. Company name, and you can experiment with the key. You can, before you make your first publish, you can experiment with this and see how you like what it says in here. Locality is the city, which is officially where my company is. The state name, it wants the 2-letter. I don't know about other countries. This is just USA. The country code is the 2-letter country code. You can put USA in there, and maybe an app will give you a warning, but generally it's the 2-letter, not the 3-letter code for your country. And then you hit OK. And then you hit OK, and then it wants what you're going to call it. This is the name that'll show up in Unity you select, which my other video showed you on how to select and use a key store. And hit OK, and then it wants a password for this particular application. All right, again, make them both the same. successful. Now, using that other video in the Unity, you select this KeyStore as your KeyStore under Publisher Settings, Publishing Settings, under the Player, under the Preferences, User Preferences in Unity, and you select this KeyStore. You enter the password for the KeyStore, and then you enter the password for this app. And you can have multiple apps. The advantage of having them all under one KeyStore is that when you push multiple apps to an app store, it actually told me the first time I published it to the Meta Oculus one, it goes, you're using the same root key, and then it was happy about that. I forget what the exact message was. So generally you want to have one big, this KeyStore is kind of your root KeyStore, and then you have one for each application. Be sure to remember your passwords. If you forget your passwords, there's no way to recover them at all. So be sure to save the passwords somewhere that is secure. Don't share them with everybody. Do not put them in your projects, because some hacker will figure out a way to get them. And then so you store a password. And I use a kind of a technique for remembering my passwords, so I can derive it again, going, oh yeah, it's this kind of style of password. And I'm sure you have your method, but I'm not going to tell you the details of mine. And anyway, so that's it. We have created a password certificate that can be used by the Meta Store and other stores. So we're going to close this out. Oh, yep, save the changes. And thank you for listening.